All right, the last section in this chapter is 5.5, and it's about conducting probability experiments. Ooh, that sounds really technical. We actually, in this one, all I really am trying to help you understand is the difference between theoretical probability and experimental probability. If you look at the words theoretical, that's all to do with a theory, really. And a theory is what people think is going to happen or what is expected to happen. And it's based on past experience, it's based on lots of things. But it's basically a theory. So theoretical probability, this is what is the expected probability of an event occurring. Okay, so what's expected to happen? And I'm going to use an example in a second here. Experimental probability, though, experimental is when you actually do the experiment and then look at the results. Okay, so it's very practical. So theory is an idea, what you think or what's expected. Experimental is the actual probability of an event happening. Okay, and it's based on results. It's based on what's actually occurred. So the experiment that I want, or sorry, the example that I want to look at is flipping a coin. Okay, now to look at flipping a coin, and this isn't moving. If we were to look at actually flipping a coin, when you flip a coin once, you have a 50% chance of getting heads and a 50% chance of getting tails. So if we were to go ahead and do this experiment, let's say these were our results. Got heads, heads, tails, heads, tails, 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 heads, tails, tails. So that means if we were to look at a total, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 heads and obviously 6 tails. That is experimental. That's actually what happened. But in a perfect world, if we were to look at the theoretical probability, if we did 10 trials and there's a 50% chance of getting heads and a 50% chance of getting tails, then you should get 5 heads and 5 tails. That's theoretical. Okay? So theoretical and experimental results aren't always the same. In fact, they very rarely are. Theoretical is from the perfect world, right? What you would expect to occur. And experimental is what actually happens. Another example we'll just talk about is if somebody had 6 kids. Well, you know the chances of having a boy or a girl is 50% chance, right? 50% for a boy or 50% for a girl. So if somebody has 6 kids, theoretically, they should have 3 boys and 3 girls. But as we all know, that's not always the case. In my family, actually, there were 2 girls and 4 boys for children. So experimental does not always match the theoretical. However, I want you to look at this little point right here. It's like experimental probability and theoretical probability. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I thought there was a line here. No, there isn't. Okay, so I have to make it up. So let's say we did, instead of doing 10 trials, we did 100. Then the more trials you do, the closer your experimental and theoretical probability become. Because over a greater number of trials, that statistic becomes a little bit more close to theoretical. Okay, I think I'm going to end it there.